In this video, we're going to talk about credit scores, and I know you know your credit score is vitally important no matter what you're trying to do these days, whether you're trying to open up a new credit card account or buy a car, but especially if you're trying to buy a home, your credit score is very, very important for a lot of reasons. So first of all of the loan programs have minimum credit score, so you have to have this score to be eligible for this particular program. The down payment assistance programs all have minimum credit scores as well. So in many cases, you're talking about a 640 score. So if you have and the requirements are very precise. So if the requirement is a 640 score and you have a 639 score, you're not going to be eligible for that down payment assistance program. It's not a situation where they look at it and say, well, a 639 is close enough with these factors. No, if the minimum is a 640, you must have a 640. The other way it can impact you is your rate. If you have a better credit score, you're typically going to pay a lower rate. If you have a lower credit score, you may end up paying a higher rate. And then finally, if you're doing a conventional loan and you're paying private mortgage insurance, and you can see my video on what PMI is, but if you're paying PMI, the premiums on that, they have different credit score tiers. So depending on where you fall, again, the higher your credit score, the lower your premium is going to be for that PMI. So let's go back to our earlier situation. Let's say on the down payment assistance, you need a 640 score, you've got a 639 score. Is there a way, is there something maybe you could do to bump that score up a few points and get it over that 640 hurdle? Well, maybe. So first of all, you need to find a lender that will allow a credit rescore. And what that simply means, normally if the lender won't allow a rescore, that means you've got to go pay something down or pay something off and then wait 30 or 45 days for the credit report to update itself. But with a rescore, which some lenders will allow, we will allow credit rescores here. What happens is, like for instance, we have a credit vendor who has a simulator. So I can say, okay, this person has a 639 score. We're trying to get to a 640. What can we do to get it up to a 640? So I can plug in all the data into the simulator. It's called a Wayfinder tool. And it'll come back and say, if you do these things, then we would predict that and do a rescore, you could get your credit score up to X immediately. So sometimes it's something as simple as if you're an authorized user on a credit card. I've seen this before. Maybe, someone is an authorized user on a parent's credit card from years ago, and maybe that's pulling their score down. If you could just get your name off that account, you might be able to bump your score up, a number of points. In many cases, it involves paying loans or credit accounts off or paying them down, paying the balance down to a certain level. So again, the simulator will come back and say, if you do these things, then we estimate it would raise your score by this with about a 90 whatever percent. Sometimes it'll say, you have a 76% chance of this working if you do these things, or you have a 97% chance of these things working. But either way, it'll tell you what you need to do to try to get the score up to the desired level. So then all you do is you just go take the action. You provide documentation to show, if you're trying to pay something down, that your new balance is such and such, or you've removed your name as an authorized user and you get a letter from that creditor that says this person has been removed from this account. That is submitted back to the credit vendor. They go back to the credit bureaus and update the information immediately, as opposed to having to wait the 45 days. So normally a credit rescore takes about 5 days. Once you have followed the instructions and done what the simulator is telling you to do, and it gets sent into the credit vendor for rescore, it takes about a week. So again, it can move a lot quicker. And that might be, again, it could be a situation to get you into one of the programs that maybe you were not eligible for, or in some cases, it can help you with your rate or your private mortgage insurance. And that's how a credit rescore works. If you have questions about that, or you'd like to look at your own credit and see where you stand, or see if you need to do a rescore, please feel free to reach out to me personally. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have or help you in any way I can. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.